In a quiet valley, shadowed by a towering mountain, lived a dreamer, not the kind who just imagines, but the kind who tries again and again and again. Every morning, this person would wake up, look at the mountain, and whisper, "One day I'll reach the top." Not because they wanted to brag, not for glory, but because something deep inside whispered that the view from the summit held a truth they needed to see, a truth about who they really were. So the dreamer began the climb. The first attempt was bold, with no map, no guide, no preparation, just passion and belief. That belief was powerful, but belief alone cannot keep your hands from bleeding when the rocks cut deep. Hours into the journey, fatigue set in. The path was steeper than expected. The dreamer fell, slipped, crawled, and then stopped. The pain in the legs, the trembling arms, the frustration. It was too much. They returned to the valley, ashamed. People whispered, "Tried to climb the mountain, huh? Told you it was impossible." Others laughed softly, hiding it behind fake concern. That night, the dreamer lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if they'd been foolish. "Maybe I'm not meant for this," they thought. But deep inside, the mountain still called. This time, the dreamer trained, studied, gathered supplies, listened to those who had climbed other peaks. Months passed in preparation. When they climbed again, they went farther, much farther. But again, something went wrong. An unexpected storm rolled in. Visibility vanished. The trail became slick and dangerous. The dreamer, so close to reaching halfway, had to retreat. Failure again, and this time the whispers were louder. "Maybe you should find a smaller hill. Some people just aren't meant to climb. Why not just be happy down here?" The dreamer stopped speaking about the mountain, stopped sharing the dream. They smiled when people asked about it, but the smile didn't reach their eyes. Years passed, not in stillness, but in hiding. The dreamer took jobs, went to gatherings, spoke of normal things, but the mountain remained, silently rising above every moment of joy, every burst of laughter. It was always in the background, a quiet reminder of what had once mattered most. Sometimes, in the dark, the dreamer would touch the old boots still hidden under the bed and remember and ache. Then one day, something shifted. A moment arrived, not dramatic, not cinematic, just a quiet afternoon. A bird flew overhead, a breeze rustled the leaves, and something whispered, "Try again." No one believed the dreamer was serious. No one cheered them on this time, but they packed their bag, laced their boots, looked up at the same mountain with the same dream, but a different heart. This time, the climb was not about proving anything, not about being first, or best, or admired. This time, it was about understanding something deeper. Failure does not mean you aren't meant to climb. It means the mountain still has something left to teach you. The third climb was the hardest, not because the mountain had changed, but because this time the dreamer brought their scars, the weight of past failures, the haunting voice of doubt, but they also brought something else: patience, clarity, and wisdom earned from falling again and again. They took each step slowly, paused when tired, listened when the wind whispered warnings, accepted help from others they met along the way, fellow climbers with their own stories of falling. And one day, not with trumpets or fireworks, but with a quiet, awestruck breath, they reached the summit, not perfect, not undefeated, but present, whole, and changed. At the top, the view was breathtaking. But more than the view, what mattered was the journey. The dreamer realized that every failed attempt had carved a deeper understanding into their soul, that the times they stumbled weren't setbacks. They were rehearsals for strength. Failure had not been the end of their story. It was the shaping of it. You see, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it, like the forest that must burn so that new trees may grow, like the muscle that must tear to grow stronger, like the heart that must break to expand. Those who succeed are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who refused to stay down when they did. The message for you. Maybe you have your own mountain. Maybe you climbed once and fell hard. Maybe people laughed. Maybe you started to believe them. Maybe you stopped even trying because the pain of falling felt worse than the dream of reaching the top. But hear this, you are not your failures. You are the strength that rises after them. There is no shame in falling. The only shame is in deciding that the fall is where your story ends. You don't need applause. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need to believe quietly, stubbornly, and relentlessly that you are not done yet. Lace up your boots again, look at the mountain, and climb, not because you're guaranteed to reach the top, but because even in the attempt, you become more than who you were before.